Welcome to the Distance Learning Kitchen, where we put a little bit of heart in everything we make. It's quick bread time. It's autumn. We're continuing with our series of quick breads that we can make. Again, looking at how recipes are written and how we need to sometimes switch up how we put things together, but still remembering the main principles to cooking with quick breads, and that is to not over mix. I'm so excited. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this spatula has pumpkins on it. And I thought it would be the perfect spatula to use, a rubber scraper, as we put together our pumpkin bread today. So we're going to start out looking at our mise en place. And we have our sugar, pumpkin, oil, and water, eggs, and then our dry ingredients, the flour. And then this calls for some baking soda and baking powder, and I did put them in here together because I was running out of these. But I've got the two of those together. And I also put the salt in here, and then over in this little dish, I have our cloves and our cinnamon. These are so easy to make. They go together quickly once you get your ingredients together. So I think the first thing that we probably want to do, if I look at the recipe, it's talking about putting our liquid ingredients together in a bowl and then putting our dry ingredients into the other bowl when we sift it. So let's go ahead and do this. I have my handy dandy sifter. I'm going to take my flour and put in here, and I'm going to turn my little handy dandy sifter so that this goes in where I need it to go. I'm going to put about half of it in. I like to add my baking soda, baking powder, salt, all those ingredients there, and my spices. There we go. And then I add the rest of our flour. And if you guys can just remember that your liquid ingredients go in one bowl, your dry ingredients generally in another bowl, and you mix all your liquid ingredients together, and then when you add your liquid to your dry, you just do not over mix, and you will end up with a great end product. So let's go ahead and sift this, and I'll move this tray in just a minute so you can get a better look here. But the difference in the texture of the flour, you can really see a difference because this is coarser than what is going through the sifter, which is why we sometimes have to sift our flour. Not all recipes call for us to do that, so read your recipe and make sure you do what it says to do. And of course, you know that I don't wash my sifter, and there we go, there's our remnants, and that's what gets in the way of creating a nice tender, soft crumb in the middle. I will take that, I dump it in my trash can, I wipe my sifter out with a damp dishcloth. I never wash it, or very, very rarely, because I don't want my sifter to rust. And that's what will happen sometimes when we wash them out all the time. All right. Let's get started here. It says that what we need to do is to beat our eggs and sugar into a large bowl. So I've got my eggs and sugar in the bowl, and I'm going to beat them. And you can use a hand mixer or a whisk. Just because of time, I'm going to go ahead and use my hand mixer. And I want you to notice how I'm getting the sides. I want to get as much of that sugar mixed in, and you can actually see the eggs changing color. They're getting lighter in color. That's a good thing. If you remember our ingredients and what they do, eggs do add volume. All right. So I have these all together, and then I just need to add my pumpkin and my oil and my water, and I just have to blend it. And I'm going to do that by hand because honestly, I just don't need this to go everywhere. All right, so here comes my pumpkin with my handy dandy pumpkin rubber scraper. All right. Get all of that out of there. And the oil. And this little bit of water. And I can mix this by hand. I can mix it with a whisk. And I actually think that I would rather use my whisk because I think it'll just give me that little bit extra that I want on here. And just look at how this comes together. Really nice. And you don't hear the grittiness of the sugar, so we got that mixed up really well. And our liquid ingredients are ready to go, nice and blended. Okay. Alrighty, let's take our flour. And our instructions say that we're going to add these to this, which is a little bit different. We're used to adding the liquid to the dry, but we're going to go ahead and add our flour. And stir it up. And that's it. Our batter is almost together. While I'm stirring this, I just want to let you know what I did to prep my pan. The recipe says that you can use a loaf pan to bake this in, or you can use muffin pans. And I'm going to use loaf pans, but mine are going to be smaller. And when you're making loaf breads, remember the video that I asked you guys to watch, and it talked about how to prepare your pan to get a great end product. And see, we're just mixing this up to get the flour incorporated here. We don't want to grease the sides of our pan, only the bottom, and just up a tiny bit. And I went ahead and already took care of that. And so now what do I need to do? I just need to get this in there. All right, probably the easiest thing for me to do is to just grab this. I just want to evenly fill my pans. And so by using the ladle, I can get a pretty good idea if I'm keeping them even. And I don't think that I need to do 4 of them. This is going to do 3 very nicely. You can add things to this. You can add chocolate chips to your batter. Some people like the chocolate chip pumpkin bread. Others like to add nuts. Some will add raisins. You can really just tailor it to what you and your family like. All right. I just want to scrape this out and just get that last little bit. Okay, this is going to be great. And I can just tell you, the kitchen smells wonderful. The Distance Learning Kitchen has been making several things today. And, you step outside and take care of something, you come back in, and you just smell these autumn aromas, and they are delicious. They smell wonderful, and they taste even better. All right, the timer's gone off. It smells like pumpkin bread in here. Let's check them. Oh, they're definitely done. And I pull these out. Oh, they're coming apart, coming away from the edges. And when I put in our tester, it comes out clean, which is exactly what we want. All right, here we go. Look at this, guys. Aren't they beautiful? We're going to let them sit. I've got to double check the recipe. I believe it says 5 or 10 minutes. Then we're going to loosen the edges, and then we're going to take them out and let them finish cooling on the cooling rack. So I'll see you in a few. All right, our pumpkin bread is out of the oven, and we've let it cool for about 5 to 7 minutes. I've taken a knife around the edges to loosen them, And now we're going to take our cooling rack and place on here. And you do want to use hot pads because your pan is still hot. And we are going to flip this over and lift this off. Ooh, there we go, guys. Look at that. Aren't they gorgeous? How easy was that? So just that easy and quick, you can make pumpkin bread. Just remember, have fun in your kitchen, try to cook with your family, and put a little heart into everything you make. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.